Rated M for mature.
With Operation Resistance well underway, HQ urges you to remember that this is first and foremost a stealth mission. Being discovered, caught, or captured could jeopardize our movements in the region. Because of this, elite performance is not just expected, it's mandatory. To better maintain operational security and ensure mission success, this briefing will present you with critical guidelines to follow while out in the field. Failure to adhere to these protocols could threaten everything we have accomplished so far, so pay attention and take notes. The mission depends on it. Every stealth mission should begin with thorough reconnaissance. Before advancing, assess the environment. Watch, listen, and explore the mission area. This is crucial to understanding what you're up against and how you will proceed. The ideal recon position is an elevated vantage point where you can view the entire area, but you won't always have this luxury. If such vantage points are unavailable, you may need to utilize natural cover to conceal yourself and mask your movements as you explore. Bushes and tall grass aren't ideal, but they'll work if you stay low and avoid detection.
Shoddy lawn work, but the grass is long enough to hide me.
Your focus ability is essential to monitoring nearby enemies. If an enemy gets too close while you're hidden, you may need to neutralize them quietly. Whether you're performing recon or searching for an enemy sniper, it is imperative that you remember the dangers of scope glint. Scanning an area with your rifle will cause light to be reflected from the end of your scope, which can be seen by enemies for dozens of yards. This may cause an alarm to be raised, giving away your position and destroying your cover. Binoculars do not produce any glint. This makes them a much safer option when it comes to observing distant areas and targets while preserving stealth. Additionally, using binoculars is the fastest way to tag enemy units and vehicles. They might not have lethal uses, but your binoculars are one of the most important pieces of equipment in your kit. Sensitive areas containing critical intel may be heavily guarded. If you need to gain access, you should exercise diversionary tactics. Drawing enemies away from a location is always safer and more effective than direct confrontation, which can risk alarms being raised. There are several distraction methods available at all times. Glass bottles from enemy refreshments make an excellent distraction. The sound of a bottle smashing nearby may make enemies suspicious and cause them to begin searching. However, this won't give you much time before the search is called off. And if there is more than one enemy guarding an area, a glass bottle distraction isn't a guarantee that both will abandon their post. In that case, you'll need to use more drastic measures. Enemy vehicles can be sabotaged to cause continuous noise and draw enemies towards it. This will make enemies more cautious, but should give you plenty of time to explore the immediate area while the enemies are occupied. Sabotaged vehicles also provide noise that is loud enough to sound mask rifle fire. Take advantage of this fact, but be sure to hide any downed corpses to avoid suspicion. Alternatively, if you want to draw enemies towards you instead of drawing them to a specific area, you can use your whistle ability. This is perfect for luring a lone enemy for a stealth takedown. Just make sure there aren't any other enemies nearby to hear your whistle or witness the kill. Enemies tend to split up when searching. If you need to thin their numbers, approaching them from behind will create an opportunity for silent melee takedowns. As far as maintaining stealth goes, using your knife to dispatch enemies is always going to be preferred over pulling any trigger. It removes the possibility of catastrophic errors that can result in discovery and ensures a quick, clean kill. The trade-off with melee takedowns is that you need to get much closer to the enemy to perform them, which often means crouch walking slowly behind them until they're in range. However, if you're in danger of being seen by your target, standing up to close the gap quickly and initiate the kill can still be effective without alerting other enemies in the area, as long as they are out of range. Use this tactic with caution, as the presence of additional enemies close by will result in immediate combat. Using your standard issue well rod or other silenced weapon should be your first alternative to takedowns, but pay attention to your target. Enemies without head protection can be dispatched quickly with a well-aimed silent headshot, but the situation becomes more complex when helmets are involved. A standard bullet fired at the head won't be able to penetrate it and will instead alert the target to your presence. This issue can be fixed with armor-piercing rounds. It is still possible to neutralize helmeted enemies with standard bullets if you aim just below the helmet in the lower skull and neck region, but doing so introduces an unsafe level of danger. Because of this, it is not a recommended tactic. As you gain skill points throughout the campaign and survival mode, be sure to spend them wisely on skills that benefit stealth. These skills include upgrades to your focus ability, increasing its effective range and movement speed while it is in use. Another beneficial skill to unlock early on is carry more decoys, which will also increase your carrying capacity for distraction-inducing bottles. With these skills at your disposal, staying hidden should be no problem. Initial recon of an area is incredibly important, but nothing can surpass time spent in an environment when it comes to learning enemy placement, patrol paths, and how to avoid detection. This is why returning to mission areas multiple times is the ideal way to learn the ins and outs. Internalizing all of this information until it is second nature will allow you to move through any mission like a ghost, as long as you have enough practice. Even with this mindset, it's important to remember that unless you're playing on authentic difficulty, being seen by an enemy shouldn't be the end of your mission. If an alarm is raised, taking to the shadows and staying low while the enemy searches for you on any other difficulty will give you an opportunity to regain your cover and take another shot at a stealth-focused approach. Perseverance is one of the most important attributes of a Sniper Elite. Don't give up. That concludes this training. Remember, stealth is the core principle of any Sniper Elite worth their salt, so take these guidelines to heart. Stay low, stay quiet, and stay out of sight. These tips will be critical for your role in the Resistance. Sniper Elite Resistance is available now on Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, PS5, PS4, and Windows PC via Steam or the Epic Games Store.